everybody. Welcome to the Jersey Baseball Show. Today's Generation Next episode, we're talking to one of the top left-handed pitchers in the country, one of the consensus top left-handed pitcher in the state of New Jersey this year, 2022, Zach Crotchfelt from Jackson Memorial. Welcome, Zach. Thanks for coming on today.
Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to be here. Super pumped for it.
Absolutely. We got an SEC commit here to Auburn University. Decided that the Jersey weather in the winter wasn't nice enough for him. Decided that, something about the SEC, crowds, environment, competition, best conference in the country, all those things, I guess, seemed a little too much to pass up, right? So
for sure. I mean, ever since I was a little kid, my thing is like, I want to play baseball all year round. So, I mean, the South is the place to do that. So, and, on top of that, the best competition in the country. So
tell us how Auburn, kind of emerged as the number one school for you. Obviously all sorts of options, all sorts of weather climates, all sorts of power conferences. But how did we eventually settle on Auburn being the place?
Yeah, so I started getting recruited from like my 8th grade year and into my freshman summer. I had a few schools on me, and then we were down at a tournament in Georgia, and Auburn was there along with a few other schools. And, just honestly being on the phone and talking with the different coaches from Auburn kind of just like it set them apart from everybody else because they're such good guys, and they made me feel like family. Auburn is really far away from New Jersey, and I don't have any family out there, and I'm the only child. So for me and my parents, it was I wanted to be at a place where I felt like it was home and I was treated like like family. So I mean, just after the first phone call with Butch Thompson, it was I felt like one of their own. So that kind of made me feel like I was in the right place. And then because Auburn isn't too far from Georgia, we took a little trip down there, got to walk around the campus a little bit. And I mean, it's gorgeous, it's exactly what I wanted. It's like a mini city, and that's exactly what I've always wanted. So, I mean, you just can't beat it. SEC, coaches, beautiful campus, beautiful baseball field. I mean, there's nothing that tops it.
I was going to say, you've seen SEC baseball, I'm sure, for years as a kid watching, and obviously the Vanderbilts of the world, and really every program down there has got a tradition and a history. Has it fully hit you yet that, starting in September, that's going to be you too?
I mean, I don't think so, honestly, because in my mind, it's just another place I'm going to play the game I love. It's not even, I'm not even thinking about, it's college. I'm just thinking about, hey, I get to play more baseball. And, that's all I really care about. So I don't think it's really hit me yet.
Yeah, until the first trip to Vanderbilt or Arkansas, right?
Right.
What's the plan then for the off season, right? Because you obviously, we've got some unfinished business at Jackson. You've got a school that's always in contention for a state title, but want to finish that job, I'm sure too. You've got the SEC to prepare for. You're certainly in a position where, depending on how things go, it could be an MLB call in July, right? There's all sorts of things, but not to get that far ahead, where do you feel like you need to be kind of in the moment right now as you're getting in your ramp up stage for this spring?
Yeah, so working with different resources, different guys, especially my travel program, Niners baseball program, they're great guys over there. On top of that, my advisors, Steve Bean and Eric Eisen with Vayner Sports, they provide like probably some of the top tier resources that anybody could ask for. I'm very grateful for that because I know not everybody has that opportunity. I'm working with, some of the top tier guys to get my body in the best possible shape for the season, prepare me for the next level, whatever that happens to be. And I mean, honestly, for me, it's all about getting stronger, getting more explosive, being faster, putting myself in a spot where I'm conditioned enough to go for 6-7 innings, where in the past I've kind of reached my pitch limit by the 5th inning, by the 6th inning. I know that I'm really going to have to step up this year, and I'm going to have to put in a lot of innings considering Matt Potok left last year to go to Coastal Carolina. So I know that those extra innings, that extra inning going into the 7th, going into the 6th, it's going to be a little more important to get in there and, keep that longevity going. So really just, I've really hit hard on lifting like a baseball player, lifting the right way, eating the right way, throwing the right way, making sure I'm doing everything in my power to be as prepared for day one and, put my team in the best, contribute and put my team in the best spot to, hopefully win a state championship. I know that's what we're all dying for. So.
Absolutely. Now, you said Vayner Sports as your advisors. Have you met Gary V is the question.
I haven't met him in person. I have DM'd him back and forth on Instagram a little bit. I mean, he's I see the videos he posts, man. He's such a down to earth guy. He's really genuine, and he's awesome. I love the dude.
That already makes you significantly cooler than I am, and ever will be. So that's pretty awesome. And it sounds like he is. The thing that makes him successful, I think, is that he's so genuine. He is. It's never an act. It's just that's the real person, and so that's pretty cool that you've got that experience already as well to kind of get that even through DM.
100%. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how you could fake what he says, what he does. It's the most real thing there is. So yeah, that's why I like him, because he's just straight to the point. No messing around. So I like that
too, right? Have you kind of grown to realize positive energy is contagious?
100%. I mean, that's why in my mind, like ever since I was a younger kid, like it's all about surrounding yourself with people who are, if you want to be more educated and be smarter, surround yourself with those people. If you want to be better at whatever you're doing, surround yourself with those people who are better, and it kind of lifts you up as well. You catch on to their habits, you see their how they do things and how they go about their business, and it kind of rubs off on you. And I mean, when somebody as positive as Gary, always pushing good vibes and genuine things, like it just rubs off on you. And that's why I like him. I can't lie, I love the guy.
Definitely. Jackson Memorial this year, what are we looking at? I'll give you a brief chance to shout out some of your senior teammates. What is a state title kind of really a legitimate? That's what everybody's goal's got to be, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think if you went around and asked everybody on the team, what would you sacrifice to win a state championship? I think we'd all agree we'd sacrifice the other 2 tournaments and the whole rest of our season, because that's how bad we want it. I mean, on top of that, like, I think this year we are going to be a little young in terms of experience. I think we're going to have a few guys that are definitely going to have to step up, but no doubt in my mind that those guys can do it. A guy like Zach McCabe, who's going to Stockton, he's definitely going to have to step up, which, it's in his capabilities to do. So I've been playing with him since I was 8 years old. The kid's got heart. He can do it, no problem. A guy like Charlie Meglio, who just committed to Campbell University, he's a stud. I know he's going to do his thing behind me in the infield. And, to bring someone new, you might not know his name, Aiden O'Donnell. He didn't catch last year because we had Zach Rogacki behind the dish, but he's going to be our catcher this year. And he didn't catch last year, but that doesn't mean he can't catch this year. I think he's going to do a great job. I don't think he's going to have a problem being behind the dish. He's got probably the most heart on the team. He just wants to play. He's a baller. He's going to do whatever the team needs. And that goes pretty much for every guy on our roster. I can't name one guy who wouldn't put, an arm and a leg out there to win a baseball game for, and our thing is like, we play for each other. It's nobody's selfish on the team. It's a lot of guys are playing for each other. That's all I could say. Just positive things. I love the group of guys. So
it's such a cliche to throw out there that like tradition never graduates, that kind of expression, but you've seen at Jackson, that's really true, right? I mean, that's obviously a lot of great players, but a cultural thing too, right?
100%. I mean, when I came in my freshman year, Frank Malta was the coach. Obviously, Pat George is the coach now. But I mean, when you look at the difference between the culture from when Coach Malta was coaching and when Coach George is coaching, the culture really isn't different. Obviously, they have a few differences in how they do things, and that's to be expected. But his thing was when he came in, he was like, "We're not changing a thing. We're going to play the same way. We're going to be aggressive. We're going to go all out. You know, we're going to play with a chip on our shoulder, just like we have for the past however many years that Coach Malta's been here. You know,
Right.
Like I said, we do things a little differently. Practices run a few different ways, but I mean, we all have the same attitude and intentions that we did when Coach Malta was here. So, yeah.
SEC is tough enough, and we've talked about Auburn a little bit, but certainly your performance in the summer, area code, some of the other events, has you on the radar for being a potential draft choice in the summer next year. Is it hard to put that aside, because it's really out of your control other than doing your thing every day? Or is it like, do you ever get caught up in that, oh my gosh, that's one closer step?
I mean, I don't, it doesn't really like cross my mind like that. I kind of just see it as, it's a possibility. Who knows what's going to happen, out of my control. And, the thing that I'm learning very quickly is that if something's out of my control, don't worry about it. Just let it run its course, and react the best way that you know how. Yeah, it's cool and all. There are no guarantees. So, and even at Auburn, I still have to perform. There's no guarantees there either. So at the end of the day, I'm gonna put my best foot forward, and I'm gonna put my best work out there. And I mean, like I said, yeah, it's cool. Not really on my mind. I don't see it as like, oh my God. And I don't know if that's maybe because it hasn't hit me yet, but I kind of just see it as like, hey, it's another opportunity to play the game you love. And that's all I'm doing it for, like,
Yeah.
I'm just doing it because I love it. If I didn't love it, I wouldn't even be on this meeting with you. So.
Absolutely. So how did this all happen? How did you really kind of become the player that you are today? You're talking about one of the best in the country at what you do at the high school level. So how did what was kind of your journey to get to there?
Yeah, I mean, it all started when I was very young. I always tell this story because it's a little funny, but my dad played in high school, and he was a righty. So when he was teaching me how to play ball, he taught me as a righty, and I guess it was just so awful that he was like, maybe we should try lefty, and it looked a little more natural. So that's always a good place to start. I mean, growing up, I was not always the best kid. I really didn't deserve to be on the field when it was, all stars and the travel team and whatnot. I just wasn't, I wasn't that good, just plain and simple. I was very short, very pudgy, not athletic. I didn't have a lot of talent to begin with. So for me, being around all those kids that were always better than me, it kind of pushed me and motivated me, because I'm very competitive. I make everything a competition that I do, whether it's with my dad, whether it's in school with my classmates trying to get a better grade. I'm very competitive. So my thing was like, I just want to be better than these kids. I don't want to be as good as them. I want to pass them. So once I was like 10 years old, that really set in for me, and I started putting in extra work, extra reps, as many as I could. And I didn't see results right away, but I think that all that extra time that I put in, all those extra reps, really kind of made me who I am today. And once I was about in 8th grade, I hit a little bit of a growth spurt. Thank God. I was about 6 foot, 160. I was string bean. I went from being pudgy to a string bean. So, yeah, I mean, just once I got there, it was a little bit easier for me. I'm not going to lie. It was easier than all the struggles that I went through. Things came a little bit more natural. I think I have all that extra time and effort that I put in to thank there. And then, it was kind of just getting around the right people that could develop me, including the Niners, including Brandon Vega, who was our JV coach last year, who has left to pursue his own business, Wheelhouse Training. I mean, just getting around those right people, showing me how to lift, showing me how to eat right, showing me the proper mechanics, simple stuff like that kind of pushed me to the next level as well. And then, started getting a little bit of college attention and understanding that, just because you're getting college attention doesn't mean that the work stops. And then once I was committed, the work doesn't stop, it gets harder. You got to work even harder. And so on and so forth. So I really have, when I was younger and those struggles that I went through to thank, really made me gritty and, willing to put in the work and trust the process. So I have that to thank. So
You ever get down on yourself because of that? Because it really sounded like it took a little while there until you hit that spurt and, before you saw, as competitive as you are, you're not seeing the results right away. That could probably be really frustrating.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely tough for me, especially because I didn't. Obviously, my parents were probably my biggest support system, and I'm very grateful for them, having both of them in my life. But as far as friends go, as far as teammates go, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't always have the best people around me, and not being the best player on the field, combined with not always being around the best kids, it kind of took a toll on me. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I did struggle with mental health when I was a little bit younger. Just honestly, I would beat myself up a lot, because I didn't have a ton of people telling me like, "Hey, it's all right, just keep working, keep working." I have my mom and my dad, but in my mind, they're supposed to say that, they're my parents. So yeah, I will say that I definitely struggled mentally. Because I kind of felt like I was fending for myself, and I had to self-motivate myself a lot. And, that motivation just wasn't there. So yeah, I got down on myself a lot. And I mean, it's even now, it's hard when I mess up, to not beat myself up because I want to get better, so bad. And usually you want to get better like that. And it doesn't
It
happen.
never works that way.
Right. And, after a bad outing, I want to go back out there and fix it, but I have to wait a week until my next outing. So, yeah, I'll definitely say that I struggled with that a little bit when I was younger. And it's no joke. I mean, some of those habits can carry into, your older life if you don't get that help that you need. Obviously, like in today's day and age, it seems like that's becoming a bigger issue, mental health and stuff. And that's definitely something I wanted to touch on because I feel I was in this position as well, but people feel embarrassed to find help and to look for a way out, and that's never the case. I got lucky and my parents were very helpful, and just other people that I had in my life when I was younger were very helpful with that. But it's not all right to just push it to the side, and because it builds up, you know what I mean? If you don't take care of it on the spot, it builds up. Obviously I don't know what happened in the various situations that have gone down recently, but guys like Ryan Jefferson, that was a whole big thing. And that hurt me because I know what that's like, and plus he's from the baseball community. I never want to see that. That kid was super, super talented. There have been a couple other younger kids that are 15 or so that have taken their own life, and because of mental health. And I feel like someone, I'm not saying I'm like this big popular celebrity or anything, but
Not yet.
yeah, not yet. Hopefully one day. But someone that I know there are some younger kids that look up to me. I definitely just want to reiterate that if you struggle with that stuff, find help. No one's gonna laugh at you or make fun of you because you're looking for help. People are gonna be there for you and support you, but it's on you to find that help and talk to somebody, because if you don't, it just eats at you and it never goes away. So definitely just something I wanted to touch a little bit on because I think it's super important, especially in today's day and age. I think sometimes social media can convey that you got to be a man, and yeah, be a man, that's all right, but being a man also entails getting help when you need it. So yeah, I just wanted to kind of touch base on that a little bit.
Yeah, and I'm glad you mentioned the something I was going to ask is that, you're getting to a point where, even if it's just people in the local, kids in the local baseball community, they know who you are, and they do like, oh, hey, he's the kid going to Auburn or whatever. So I'm glad that you threw out there, kind of the advice and message that you've sort of learned along the way,
Right.
to let them know. So, what's the proudest thing you've ever, your proudest moment on the baseball field?
Proudest moment on a baseball field would definitely have to be going back to the Last Dance tournament in when I was a sophomore in high school. Yeah, sophomore. Um, the year previous, we had Cherokee in the first round of states, and the weather was awful that day. I have to say the weather was awful that day. Not to make an excuse for my performance, but I choked pretty bad, and I let down. In my eyes, I let down a lot of those older guys. As a freshman, I kind of took that one hard because I know we had such a good team, and guys wanted it so bad, and I wanted it bad too. To kind of let down the team, that one hurt. But in the Last Dance tournament, it was the South Championship, and we were down 3-0 in the fourth inning or the fifth inning, and I came in with bases loaded, no outs, pretty terrible situation. But worked through it, got out of the inning without letting any runs up. And then after that inning, we were all really fired up. Scored like 4 or 5 runs after that, and then I went back out there and did my thing for 2 more innings, and we ended up winning the South Championship. So for me, that was like a big redemption thing. You know what I mean? And a lot of those guys we hadn't really won anything up until that point. So to bring home some hardware, and to be a part of that and to like kind of help the team get there, that was like one of the best feelings ever. I was super proud. I mean, because I played with a lot of those kids when I was younger in Little League, you know what I mean? And I a lot of those kids, it was their last year. So I wanted to be a part of it as much as I could. And to win that game was huge, jumping around with everybody and celebrating, probably one of the best feelings I've ever had on a baseball field. And I hope that I have a lot more like that to come. So.
Absolutely. Favorite place you've played? Big stadium division, so we're not no high school field allowed here.
Okay. Favorite place I've played, I definitely got to say in Cary, North Carolina, at the USA facility. Those fields were gorgeous. I mean, they were awesome. And then I'd also have to say the Trop at Rays Stadium was very nice. I was getting ready to go in the bullpen, and there was this guy that was working on the bullpen mound, one of the ground screw guys. And I was like, excuse me, I have to throw. And he was like, give me 5 more minutes. I'm almost done. And he made that mound absolutely perfect for me. And then went onto the actual mound, and it was like the nicest mound I've ever thrown on. And I mean, but yeah, Cary, North Carolina, the work that they do down there on those fields, I mean, they're major league grade fields. They're beautiful. And then yeah, the Trop was definitely that was an experience mainly because it was inside in the bubble. I've never been inside playing a game. It's always outside, so there's no air resistance. It's nice and it's a good temperature. So it was a pretty awesome experience.
Climate controlled baseball.
For sure.
What's one thing we don't know about Zach Crotchfelt that we should?
All right. Well, I'm going to give a little self promo here. I do run a little business on the side. I run a sneaker reselling business. So I buy and sell like Jordans, Yeezys, kind of like hype shoes. I'll buy them used, clean them up, and resell them. So in spite of my last name being Crotchfelt, my name, if you want to check me out and get some shoes for me, is Kick to the Crotch on Instagram. So I had a little twist.
I feel like you had that's one plus is you had a built-in business name there. That's right.
Exactly. I mean, how could you not with Crotchfelt, right? Like it just worked out. So yeah, I run a little side hustle. It's nothing crazy. I have like 15 pairs of shoes sitting in my room right now, but it's good.
Is this primarily Instagram? What are we, a website? Where do we need to go to get this if that's what we want to do?
Yeah, I mean, you check me out on Instagram, check me out on Facebook. I just Zach Crotchfelt on Facebook. And then, I sell in various other program or, services and whatnot. And then I also go to like sneaker conventions here and there. So I'll be at one this Sunday up in East Brunswick. So, yeah, it's just, I really enjoy being around shoes. And if I wasn't doing baseball, I'd probably be doing that full time. So
Yeah, I love the side hustle, and let's hope it becomes bigger and bigger as your platform gets bigger and bigger.
I hope so for sure.
Absolutely. Favorite Halloween costume ever?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Uh,
Favorite Halloween costume ever. Man. I will say one of the funny ones was a few years back, maybe I was like 13 years old. They had like those big emoji costumes that were in style. So I had like a cool, like the sunglasses one. So I just looked like a big old yellow M&M running out there. But yeah, I mean, it's probably something like that. I was never big into like dressing up as anything crazy. Maybe I was when I was like 6 and 7, dressing up as like Spider-Man or something. But yeah, the one that I can remember, probably that one.
on game day, I'm happiest or I feel best when what's my favorite game day meal?
Game day meal. So I will say I really leaned on my mom last year for peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. It got to a point.
You can't make your own?
I can now, all right, but cut me some slack, man. So no, what would happen is I would go from, I'd be at the field, I'd be at school and I'd come home for a
Timing
few
issue.
minutes.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I believe you are competent enough to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich while you're at home. I believe that. I choose to believe that.
You're probably right, but being the lazy high schooler that I was, I said, Mom, could you bring me some peanut butter and jelly sandwiches? And it started out as one, and then one wasn't enough, so I'd eat two. Especially on like the long bus rides to like Southern or something. I'd have 2 peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, and it felt like if I didn't have the peanut butter and jelly sandwich, it wasn't my best performance. So I think it was kind of like it was like a good luck charm for me. So yeah, peanut butter and jelly sandwiches for sure.
The good news is I have checked ahead, and Auburn has both peanut butter and jelly. Red, so you're good. You're good to go to college.
Love that. I love to hear it.
Zach, I appreciate the time tremendously. Thank you very much for joining us today. I know Auburn should be very excited that you're headed down there, getting one of our best from up here in Jersey. What's one other thing you're going to miss, by the way? One thing you will definitely miss about New Jersey while you're down there?
Man, I think as much as I hate it right now, I think I'll miss the snow a little bit. I'm not going to lie. I also say I'll miss the beach because I'm not a big beach goer, but I will say that when I do go to the beach, I don't think there's an ocean out there that's going to beat the Jersey Shore. And then, I mean, even on top of that, I think it's just the area. So many memories that I made here. Even the little park right by my house where I played Little League for, all the time that I was, at that age. Probably just the memories. I say all the time, I don't know if I'm going to come back to Jersey after I get a taste of what the South is like. But when I think about all the memories I had and how I'm going to want my family to experience the same things, I'll probably be back here. At least hopefully, at least have a house over here. That would be cool. And then, I don't know what my parents are going to do, but while I'm at college, they'll probably still be here. So I'll definitely miss my parents and all my friends that are going to college up here. So it'll be a change, but I think it'll be a change for the better. And I'll still come back and visit. I can't stay away. So, yeah.
Exactly. We look forward to watching you over the next few years and beyond. And like I said, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Zach Crotchfelt, our guest. Jackson Memorial, set to do some big things in 22 and headed to the SEC beyond that. So we appreciate everybody stopping by Generation Next here, and we look forward to catching you next time.